Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Attempster. Today I'm going to be going over part 20 in the Project FPS tutorial series. So in the last part we went ahead and we got knifing going. So if we equip, say, the secondary weapon here and we press F, we'll switch weapons and then knife, like so. So we added in the knifing animations and then that small knifing mechanic. So again, if you haven't already watched that tutorial, definitely go ahead and watch it so you'll be up to date. But apart from that, we'll get straight on into this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we're going to be going over adding the explosions and the smoke for our grenades. So down here, what I'm going to do is go over to this layer. Then I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to center. Then I'm going to press Shift A, add a plane, and move it across. This here is going to be my smoke screen. So in the object settings, I'm going to call it smoke screen. Then I'm going to go to the materials tab, click new, scroll down, turn off specular. Scroll down further, turn on transparency, turn off the alpha. Then also under the shadows here, let's turn off everything there as well. Then over to the texture tab. So in there, click new texture, image or movie. Scroll down, we'll choose UV here. Scroll down and alpha as well. Alright, and then here, this texture here, I'll leave a link to in the description if you want to go ahead and get it. But otherwise, if you want to make your own, feel free to do that as well. Then once you loaded in the texture, like so, what I'm going to do is in this window, I'm going to press Tab, U, and Unwrap. Then that will unwrap our texture. I'm going to go over here to UV Image Editor, and then I'm going to press S to scale, and just scale it in a little. So we'll make sure we don't have any clipping. Like so. So just move it accordingly until it's in the center. Cool, so there we go, there is our smoke screen. Now what we need it to do is always be facing the player. So what I'm going to do is press RX90, rotate it up like so. I'm going to press P, make sure that that is a good side with the normal facing out. Then what I'm going to do is go over here, change it to no collision. Then what we're also going to do is go over to the material settings and we'll go over here, face orientation, and let's just say billboard. We need to press RZ90 and then enter, tab to go out of edit mode, and hopefully that should be it. So now we have smoke facing in our direction. Let's go ahead and press RX90 as well. Let's see if that makes a bit of a difference. Alright, that's looking a bit better. Cool, so there we go, that's the smoke screen done. Now let's go ahead and give it an animation. So down here, I'm going to get rid of the location rotation key, and I'm going to go to frame 0. And then in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S to scale it down, maybe something like that. Then I'm going to press I and insert scaling. And then this is going to last quite a while because it's proper smoke. So I'm going to have my animation go all the way to frame 180. So that will be around about 3 seconds long per piece of smoke. So on frame 180, I'm going to press S and make it really, really big. So something like that. I insert scaling again. Then what we're going to do is also in the material settings, we're going to scroll down and choose object color. Then over in the object settings, we're going to scroll down and we'll animate this object color here. So on frame 0, we'll want to make it invisible. So alpha to 0, right click and insert keyframe. Then on frame 20, click in here, full alpha, right click and insert keyframe. Right, and on frame 180, we want it to be invisible again. So no alpha, right click, insert keyframe. Cool, so there we go. Now let's go over here, move this up. And over here, let's add ourselves an always sensor and action. Join the two together, like so. Oh, maybe add an and. Join them together. And from in here, we want to choose smoke screen action. So smoke screen action, there we go. Then in here, ends at frame 180. And so now if we press P, there we go. Cool, so now we'll minimize all of those. That's the smoke screen done. Now what we also need is, for our grenade explosion, we need some sort of smoke trails. So let's go ahead and press Shift A, add ourselves a cube, and this can be our smoke trail. Now before we continue, let's press M and move it to the next layer, because this layer here will keep all the sort of assets like the smoke and stuff. So now we have this smoke here. Let's go ahead and add another type of smoke. So Shift A, add a plane. This here I guess can just be grenade underscore smoke. And then what we're going to do is, again, in the materials, scroll up, new material, no specular, and then transparency to 0, no shadows. And then what we're going to do, go back over here, new texture, image or movie, UV, scroll down to alpha, and then again this texture will be down in the description below. Alright, and then in this window, tab U and unwrap to unwrap the texture. And then we're going to press RX90, bring it up like so, and then go to the material settings. Over here, choose billboard, and then scroll down and choose object color. Alright, so if we press P, that should be facing us. Then I'm going to press tab, and then RZ90, enter, tab to go out of edit mode, and then press P. And there we go, that's facing us, which is great. So now on frame 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it in, like so. Then press I, insert scaling, go along to frame 60, and then S to scale, make it fairly large, but not too big, so something like that. I, insert scaling. On frame 10, we're going to be also animating the alpha, so frame 0, go over to the object settings, object color, no alpha, right click and insert keyframe. Frame 10, over here, right click, turn alpha to full, insert keyframe, and then over here, frame 60, no alpha, right click and insert keyframe. Cool, so now that should fade out as well. Alright, so we have that going. Now what we're going to do is go over to our trailer, or our spawn. Go over here, choose no collision, also do the same for the smoke. So this right here, we'll choose no collision. Then go back to the spawner, over here, add an always sensor, and then here we'll add edit object, and also add a motion. So join the two together, like so. And then from here, we'll choose grenade smoke. So scroll down and grenade smoke, there we go. We'll give it a time of 60 frames. And then the motion here, let's just say, can be on the y-axis. So maybe 2 or 3.3. And there we go. So this needs to be on true, maybe something like 12. So press P, and there we go. Now our smoke here isn't actually playing any animation, so on here let's add an always and an action, join the two together, and in here let's choose our grenade smoke action. There we go, and at frame 60. Alright, let's go back to our spawner layer and press P. There we go. Now this might not be frequent enough, so I'm going to change it to 5, and there we go. Maybe even less. Alright, so just sort of tune it to your liking. I think 4 might be a good value. The best value is when they sort of just merge together but don't fully overlap. So yeah, something like that should be good. So now what I'm going to do is minimize all of those. There we go. And then what we're going to do is go back to this layer here. Then I'm going to add one more texture, and this is going to be for the sort of fire from our grenade explosion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A. Actually, let's move this across, and then Shift A, add another plane. Let's scroll up and call this grenade fire. So grenade underscore fire. Let's again add a new material, no specular. Scroll down, no shadows, and transparency set to nothing. Also, face orientation billboard, and then we're going to press tab and then RY90, then tab to go out of edit mode, and let's go ahead and add a new texture. So this here is going to be image or movie, UV, and alpha. So over here for the first texture, we actually just want to use the previous smoke texture we used. So this one, right here. Smoke, I think that was it. Yep, so we want to use this texture, and then I'm going to scroll up, and over here we'll add ourselves another texture on top. So over here, image or movie. Now in our smoke texture here, we're actually going to turn off color, and we'll just leave on alpha. And then over here in the next tab, we're going to choose UV and select color. So again, link to this texture will be down in the description below if you want to go ahead and get it, but otherwise feel free to make your own. So now what we're going to do is move this down here, go in this window, press Tab, U, and unwrap, then Tab to go out of edit mode, and then over here, back to the material settings, we're going to choose shadeless. Cool, so there we go, that is all of that done. Now what I'm going to do is scale this up to be fairly large. So maybe something like that. Alright. And there we go. Now this doesn't have an animation, so we don't need to really add any logic. However, in the physics, we need to make sure it's on no collision. So let's go back to layer 2 here, and let's add some logic to our smoke grenade. So select the dynamic version. We're going to go over here, add a property called use, and choose a boolean. Then over here, we're going to add ourselves a delay. I'm going to make it 2 seconds. And then over here, we're going to go ahead and we'll choose a property. And this will assign use to true. Alright, so minimize all of those. Then over here, we're going to add our property. Use is equal to true. And then on a true pulse of maybe 12. And then over here, we'll add an edit object, join the two together, and from here, scroll down, and we'll choose our smoke screen. So I guess you can just type in smoke, and smoke screen. Cool, so the time here is also going to be 180, and then we can minimize all of those. Now we also want this to disappear after a while, so over here, let's add another delay. In the original demo, I think I made mine 880 sort of frames long. So if you divide that by 60, I think that is close to 15 seconds, maybe around there. So either way, you can choose a different delay time if you think that will work better. Then here, we're going to add ourselves an AND controller, and then over here, edit object and end object. So now also one more thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our dynamic smoke grenade here is has some sort of variation so the smoke doesn't look the same. So let's go over here, add a motion, and when it's doing that we also want it to rotate on the z-axis a couple degrees, like so. Alright, and minimize that. So one problem we do have is that our smoke screen here is still on static, so make sure it's no collision. Make sure everything else is no collision as well. Go back to the trailer here, make sure no collision, and then back to layer 1, numpad 0 and P. Then we'll press number 4 for our smoke grenade, throw one down, and there we go. We have a smoke grenade. Cool. So you'll notice it is fairly frequent, but it is spinning round, which is good. So if you want to, you might want to, I don't know, give it a little bit of movement. So the spawning is changing a little bit more. So let's go to our smoke grenade, and I don't know, let's just say 0.01 on here, and then maybe negative 0.01 over here. Now what we can do is go ahead and get the grenade working. So before I do that, let's go back to layer 2, and I might go ahead and increase this. Maybe to 15, just so it's not as frequent. Then also what I might do is increase the size here. So on frame 180, I'm going to press S and make it even larger. So I insert scaling. Now let's go to layer 2 and select our grenade over here, dynamic grenade. Now what we need this to do is always go ahead and we want it to add in an explosion. So just add that in, like so. Then also, we want it to remove itself after a certain amount of time. So actually, we don't want it to always add an explosion. We want a delay. So again, maybe 2 seconds. And then what we're going to do over here is after that time, we want it to go ahead over here, add in the new object, and then also end itself. So join that in like so, minimize all of those. Then I'm going to go down in the bottom corner here, so another one of the layers. Then I'm going to press Shift A and add myself an empty. Now this here is going to be a grenade explosion. So grenade explosion. And this here, we're going to always run a Python script. So join that in like so. So set this here to true, and then we're going to add a property. So this here is going to be called smoke. And then over here, we'll choose an integer. And let's just say around about 15. Alright, so in here, I'm going to go to the text editor. And I'm going to choose the plus here. And in here, we'll go ahead and add in our smoke. So let's just call this grenade explosion.py, and then up the top here import BGE, and let's actually go again to this over here, Control C to copy, and then grenade explosion, and just paste in the start. Alright, so in here what we want to do is first of all add in the script. So we're going to be using this property here to count how many instances of smoke trails we'll need. So I'm actually maybe turn it down to about 12, and then first line in here we're going to import it in. So smoke is equal to own, and then smoke, own smoke. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is go down a couple lines. Then in here, if smoke is greater than 0, do a colon, go to the next line, and in here we want to add in our smoke object or smoke trail. So in here, let's add in the scene, which is equal to bge.logic.get current scene. Current scene. Then in here what we want to do is type in scene.add object, and then in here we want to add in our smoke trail. So this one right here. So smoke underscore trail, and then we'll do a comma, own, another comma, and then maybe have it last for 5 frames, round brackets. Then also what we want to do is apply a random rotation to our spawning grenade explosion. So let's go over here and import in random. So import random. Then we'll go to this line, press enter, and then own.apply rotation, then a round bracket and a square bracket, and the first one, random.rand int, and then round bracket 0 or maybe negative 180 to 180, then closing round brackets, a comma for the next one, and then I guess just copy and paste this 3 times. So copy and paste, and then comma, there we go. So actually the square bracket we don't need, just the rest of it. Right, so closing square bracket at the end, and closing round bracket. And now what we want to do is, we have all of that spawned in, we also want to reduce smoke by 1. So own smoke minus what is equal to 1. So actually, let's go over here and maybe change it to negative 90 to 90, like so, and do that for the rest of them, like this. So negative 90, and then 90. Let's do it for all of those, 90, and then 90 over here. Alright, cool, so that should be all of that done. Now what I'm actually going to do is assign all of this here. So random rotation is equal to, and then all of this. And then I'm going to get rid of the outside brackets. And then I'm going to go to the next line, and then own.apply rotation, then a round bracket and random rotation. Rotation. Alright, so now that should be working if we set it up right. So let's press P, and we still only seem to be getting 2 smoke spawners, which isn't too great. So let's go ahead and check the console. So new line, there we go. And there we go, we have a problem. Line 13, smoke trail did not work. So smoke trail did not match any objects. So let's go over here, and there we go, we don't have a underscore. So let's remove that and go back to this layer here and press P. There we go, and we have some random smoke added in. So let's make this here invisible and go back to this layer here, and there we go. Cool, so we have some random smoke added in, which looks cool. So yeah, there we go, that's that done. Now what we can do is I might actually go over to our smoke layer, and if we add that in here, I'm going to go to frame 0 and maybe scale it up a little bit. I insert scaling, and then frame 60 will make it even larger. So I insert scaling. Alright, so back to this layer here. Now also what we want to do is add in some fire. So let's go over here, enter, next line, then enter again. If smoke is equal to 1, go to the next line, and in here what we want to do is add in our fire. So scene.add object, and then a round bracket, and we'll add in our grenade fire. So select the name here, Control C to copy, paste it in, then own, and let's just say 2, so for 2 frames, and I think that should be about it. So maybe we might go ahead and over here we'll add ourselves an animation to it. So frame 0, maybe this big, I insert scaling, and then frame 10, maybe even frame 5, we'll add in a scaling animation like so. Alright, so over here, let's add an always sensor, add an action, join the 2 together, and then from here, scroll down, and then from here, choose grenade smoke or grenade fire. So grenade fire action, and add at frame 5. So also what I'm going to do is go over to our spawner here, and I'm going to turn down the smoke to maybe around 6, press P, and that is looking a little bit better. Alright, so we just have some random smoke direction like that. Cool, so there we go, I am happy with that. Now I'm going to minimize those and make sure that all of that is fine. So now what we can do is go over to our grenade here, and let's select the dynamic object, and under here we'll add a delay, and over here let's spawn in our grenade explosion. So grenade explosion, there we go, and this is going to end. Well, we don't really need to spawn it in for long, so let's just say 5 frames. Alright, now let's go over here, numpad 0, press P, equip our grenades, throw one of those, and there we go. Cool. So that is all of that done. Now we have awesome grenade explosions. So again, I guess maybe if you wanted to, you can make the explosion more dense. So in here what you could do is turn down the speed and maybe turn up or turn down this here. Let's go ahead and try that out. So numpad 0, P, and throw a grenade, and there we go. So maybe if you'd rather something like that, then you could use that as well. Cool, so there we go, that is that done. I might actually turn that up, and we'll try that again, so we can get some more spread on it, like so. There we go. But either way, I'm happy with that, so if you want to, you can spend more time adding bits and pieces here and there. But again, that's up to you. Either way, I am happy with what's there. So there we go, guys. That's the end of this tutorial. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know with a like or comment down below. All of that stuff would be greatly appreciated. Let me know if you're enjoying the series so far. I think we're almost finished with the sort of first person setup. But apart from that, yeah, I think that'll be about it for this tutorial. So either way, hope you enjoyed it, have an awesome week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.